everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Lunch Break with Amie and Kevin. I'm Amie Baca-Oehlert, your CEA president.
I'm Kevin Vick, your CEA vice president.
Well, this weekend we just wrapped up CEA's 95th Annual Delegate Assembly. This was actually the second ever virtual delegate assembly, which I think we can both say we never expected to have happen in our terms as president and vice president, holding two virtual delegate assemblies. This delegate assembly was different than last year's, though, in the virtual sense that we were able to conduct business. And so in some ways, it was as close to possible that we could get to an in-person delegate assembly with having resolutions, MBIs, and the voice of our elected delegates heard. The Delegate Assembly is the highest governing body of the CEA. It's always an exciting time, a tiring time, but it is the body that sets forward the business of the CEA. So it was a great weekend, and we are happy to be coming off of that weekend and hopeful for an in-person delegate assembly for 2022. So if you want to get involved and be a part of moving forward the business of the CEA, as we always say, Kevin, the CEA is member-led and member-driven. Run to be a delegate for our CEA Delegate Assembly. It is the best way to have your voice heard and to be a part of moving forward the work of our association. I know Kevin and I would also like to thank everyone. We were also re-elected this past weekend as president and vice president of the CEA. So we look forward to 3 more years of working together with the over 39,000 members of the CEA to be that voice, to stand up for students, educators, and public education across Colorado. So thank you for re-electing us. Kevin, did you want to jump in on that?
Sure, I just wanted to add thank you, and it really is such an honor to serve and be the state representatives for the Colorado Education Association. Just the numbers and the input that you give from across the state is really helpful as we try to move education policy to a place that's good for not only the policymakers and the people that have vested interests outside of public education, but mainly the students and you as the actual practitioners of education. It's, again, truly just an honor, and we look forward to another 3 years.
Yes, and there's certainly much work ahead. I think as we must acknowledge the verdict in the Derek Chauvin case, in the murder of George Floyd, which is certainly a step forwards towards justice, but there is so much work to be done, and we are committed to that work as a union, as public school educators, to ensure that all students, all people are safe in their schools and in our community. So we will certainly continue to be committed to that work as we all work towards true justice. We also still are in the midst of the legislative session. It's still ongoing, lots of things happening at the legislature. We are expecting the School Finance Act, which is very important for all of us as public school educators, to drop in the next couple of weeks. So that's something that we will be paying a lot of attention to. Please pay attention to our social media channels, as we will be sure to ask you to lift up your voice to ensure that we have the funding that is so needed. This year, we have been working under a $1.2 billion underfunding of our schools, and we know that we must do better. So we will be pushing hard to buy down that budget stabilization factor, and your voices will be crucial for that. And that directly impacts something that's happening right now that Kevin's going to talk about, which is local bargaining. So Kevin, why don't you talk to us about what's happening with bargaining across the state?
Right. As the financial picture for the state comes into clearer focus, bargains as well should be coming into clearer focus. And there's just a couple of really clear points that are necessary to really talk about when we're talking about bargaining this year. One, the state did not get hit as hard financially as originally anticipated. And so that's actually excellent news. So we're not starting from as deep a hole as we thought we were going to. And then the resources for the state alone are looking pretty good. Our financial outlook as a state is looking pretty good. And then on top of that, we are getting unprecedented money coming in from the federal government. And so districts should have ample resources to do some really impressive things this year in their districts. And it also means that they should be able to compensate their employees in a reasonable manner this year. And so what we're asking is that you're staying in communication with your local bargaining teams and supporting them, because this, as always, bargaining is a tough challenge, and we want to make sure that our bargaining teams are well supported and getting good outcomes for educators across the state.
Absolutely. So important to support that, the hard work of those local bargaining teams or those meet and confer teams. Both Kevin and I were participants on our local bargaining teams when we were in the local. It's definitely hard work, but it is the right work. So thank you to all those local bargaining teams out there, and keep up the good work. So with that, we hope you have a good rest of your week. We will see you in a couple weeks for the next lunch break, and hopefully that will bring some better weather for us. It's been kind of a dreary week this week and a snowy week in April, but we're continuing to keep on. So hang in there, everyone. Stay safe, be well, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Bye, everyone. Stay safe and stay strong.